We live in a world suffering from chronic challenges with a system designed to fight infectious diseases. This is why everything's a pill, because the system is designed to make a pill. So what other alternatives do we have here? The goal is drug-free health and wellness. Can we improve people's quality of life without introducing chemical intervention or electrical intervention?
Or another pill.
Or another pill.
Jay Dhaliwal, the mind behind Super Patch, a simple patch that can enhance sleep, focus, balance, and mood. A neurotech sharing life-changing effects without drugs or devices.
How the heck did that happen?
If you got stung by a bee anywhere on your body, you'd feel it. There is a deep, complex connection between our skin and our brain. With Super Patch, we've embedded and embossed that pattern of stimulation onto the patch, and we put it on our skin that it speaks to our central nervous system.
Why you developed the product that way you did?
The reason for that is this. My mom got sick in '83, and she got this condition called MS. It's incurable to an extent. And I just saw the bravest, strongest woman in the world, completely dependent on her family for her care. And you realize very quickly that there are priorities in life. That caring for one another in a family unit is probably the top priority, right? And that's what started this journey, trying to understand, maybe I could help my mom.
And what do you say to people who say, Jay, this sounds great, but these super patches seem foo-foo, or I don't really believe the science behind it?
The studies would disagree with them. We do placebo-controlled studies. There's less than 1 out of 1,000% chance that this is placebo, that this is fake data.
What do you hope your life's work and your mission was all about that you're remembered for?
That I dedicated my life to leave this place better than I found it. Hi, I'm Jay Dhaliwal. I went from low-income housing to building an empire of $250 million. I'm one of the passionate few.
Thanks so much for being on the show today, Jay.
Absolute pleasure, Omar.
Absolutely, man. So great to have you on the show, Jay. I know you just flew in, so a lot of people, have asked when we posted that we were going to interview you. I wanted to start off by asking you, for the audience who may not know a little bit about you, can you give the audience a little bit of context? I know you had a $100 million success early in your career, but before you became the CEO of Super Patch, how the heck did that happen?
Well, it's a great question, Omar. Thanks. Life will throw many opportunities your way. Mm-hmm. I started my career in the software space, specifically in software and internet security. So right out of university as a software engineer, it was the days of internet just becoming nascent everywhere. Mm-hmm. And where the majority of people were looking at websites and web pages, I had this intuitive thinking that perhaps security for online security is probably the way to go. So I positioned myself in terms of training, education, mm-hmm. focusing on that very specific skill set that led to some incredible opportunities, as you can probably imagine, in the .com heydays. It was the Wild West. Right?
What year was it at that time?
I'm starting from 93, 94, right up through 99, 2000.
Wow.
Right? It was
peak window.
Peak, right? And technology as it was literally a starship. I mean, there were new ideas. There were new breakthroughs. Websites were seemingly magical things, but there was an infrastructure that was required to manage this thing called the internet. And a big part of that infrastructure was security. So I positioned myself into there. Being in that position opened up a lot of opportunities for me mm-hmm. In some startups and some really great places. And, before the age of 30, I had hit some really incredible milestones of success, financial success. There seemingly was an IPO every other day back in the day, right? Yeah. So it was a lot of timing. And I think, as a young person under 30, when you achieve really generational kind of success, you think you're smart, right? Yeah. When and I was no different, right?
So do you remember a moment where you were like, "Holy shit, I can't"?
Yeah, I remember that moment. I remember that moment.
How old were you?
29 years old. Net worth peaked 60 million plus.
Wow.
Right, and I thought I was the smartest guy in the room.
How deep did you sleep at that point?
I didn't. I don't sleep. Sleep has always been a thing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you started getting exposed to people that are 10x that.
Right.
And so you start hanging around people who have a different view of wealth, of success, of scale. Mm-hmm. And then you start making bigger bets. I felt, in hindsight, when the .com correction happened in the early 2000s, I felt a little bit like Icarus, flew too close to the sun. But this is the thing that I've learned. Once you've felt the warmth of that sun, you got to go back, right? You got to get up. I mean, that's the story that I tell anyone. Everybody's going to get knocked down. You're going to get knocked down. I'm going to get knocked down. The story is not in getting the knockdown. The story is in getting back up. The story, because there's no story unless you get back up. People say there's no story unless you win. I said, win or not win, you got to get up. That's why the first Rocky was one of the greatest movies ever made. He didn't win, but he got up.
Right.
You have to get up.
Right.
Right. So, and certainly did I take it with all the charm and grace that I have all these years later? Heck no. Like in that moment when, half of my wealth evaporated over 6 months.
Really?
I lost $50 million in 6 months.
So you went from presumably a $100 million valuation to $50 million in 6 months.
6 months.
How old were you?
32.
Oh my God.
Right? 32, peaking at 33. And I'd never experienced anything like that before.
What's the biggest lesson that situation taught you?
A lot of lessons, more than one. First, if you're going to have aspirations of that kind of success and that kind of wealth, you better have control. Right? I've learned over many years now that in your business, control is more important and more powerful than just profit. Because as soon as you give away control, somebody else is in charge of your destiny and your success. Number one, because I had no control over what was happening.
So what was the structure of the business at that time? Just high level.
These were investments in different companies online, right? So these were predominantly tech plays, right? And when the correction happened, all the vaporous ideas disintegrated in real time, right?
Right.
So, when you're young, you're thinking, oh, I'm so smart. I made all this money, so everything that I touch is going to turn to gold. It was not the case. Yeah. So I call it my great humbling. Like, I mean, there was a lot of hubris in this guy, right? I thought, like I said before, because everything I had done to that point had worked out.
And how did you get your initial capital to make those investments?
Well, I was working in the tech space. So I was earning great salary. I mean, my skill set was in high demand, right? I was a network engineer. I was a software engineer. I had accumulated skill sets that together provided a very incredible income, right? I'd been working full time since I was 17 years old. So
you were making like a 6-figure salary already at that age?
At that young age, as soon as I came out of school, I was going to clock.
Investing?
Yeah. A little bit of a backstory to that. I mean, I grew up from very humble beginnings.
Where?
In Toronto, right? And I saw that your economic status really controlled and really played a large role in the avenues that were open to you. It was just the way that it was, right? So, my parents bought a home in Toronto in 1973 for $35,000. Right?
Yeah, you can't even get an addition at that.
But minimum wage was like $2 an hour. It was some ridiculous number. And my parents were blue collar workers, but education was very important to my parents, right? Because they felt the brunt of a lack of education, what it meant for them to have upward mobility. But a few things happened. First, my mom got sick in '83 with MS. She was diagnosed with MS. Went to wheelchair, and so we went from a dual income family, blue collar family, to a single blue collar family, single earning blue collar family, which meant that couldn't keep the house. So dad had to sell the house, right? So we went from having a home to becoming tenants, and so you go from having your own home to a low income residence in the suburbs, right? Yeah. And that change, I was a teenager, right? But I felt it. You felt that, okay, now you went from okay to not okay, from a semblance of abundance to scarcity, right? You're like, okay, how does this happen? And because of economic constraints, because, you'd ask for something, well, maybe next year,
right?
Maybe next year, right? And that was something that was very unsettling for me, that, this thing that we call money really can impact everyone in your family, can impact the trajectory that you want. It can really play, and not that money can buy you everything. I don't believe that at all. But no money can't buy you anything, right?
That's right.
So it's very hard. It's a paradigm. It's a belief system, right?
Yeah.
And
I heard this expression. It says money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys everything else.
it buys everything else, right? And or close enough, right? And
Yeah.
they might sound horrible, but
Yeah.
I've lived through it. And in face of this economic scarcity, I realized I needed to make economic strives to get myself, my family, my future family, what it was, to not be in that situation.
So that hunger was a fire in you early on.
Very young, right? And so, a little bit of background. So when you say, how did you start making money? The first full-time job I had was the summer of 87. I had no, you can imagine, I'm a 17-year-old kid, right? So I'm flipping through the newspaper because there was no internet, looking for a job. So there's a square box in the local newspaper. It says, no experience needed, earn $2,000 a week cash. I'm like, that's me. That's me.
Yeah.
Right? I took the bus to this place, wherever the address was, right? And I met this guy. He spent half an hour with me talking to me. And what it was he had a distributorship selling vacuums. The job was selling vacuums door to door. Okay? You're like, what are you talking about, Jay? So my first job was selling vacuums door to door.
Wow.
These were expensive vacuums. They're anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500.
And then you earn a commission on what you
And you're
sell.
on a commission on it, right? And I was only interested in what the process was, right? So he goes, if you do everything that I say, if you follow the training, you memorize the training, you say what I say and how I say. So the training is a week long. You got to pay him for the training, right? But so when you're optionless, you take the opportunity in front of you.
That's right.
So I still remember his name. His name was Ray. I won't share his last name because of privacy reasons, but perhaps one of the greatest salesmen I ever met in my life. So for a week, he trained me.
Ray and Jay.
Ray and Jay. So right away, for me, he was the picture of success, right? Had a red Cadillac Eldorado, had the gold, he had everything, right? So this guy was like, this guy's successful.
Yeah.
And so he picks me up on a Saturday morning. He goes, okay, you're ready for your first demonstration. Takes me to the first call. I go, I do the sale. I come back with a check and the contract signed. And Ray pulls out a wad of $100 bills about that big. He peels off $500. He goes, there you go.
Wow.
And I'm like, he goes, what do you want to do next? I go, I want to sell another one. Right? Because what else am I going to do?
Right.
I sold 4 vacuums my first day. I made $2,000.
Your first day?
First day. Wow. Hear me out.
Yeah.
That was August, first week of August, might have been 10th or 9th. I don't remember the exact day.
Yeah.
In that first 3.5 weeks, I made $40,000.
What?
So what does any 17-year-old do when he has $40,000?
You made $40,000 at 17.
Yeah. First month, 1 month. Hold on. So what is it? What is any normal 17-year-old
Car.
100%. Exactamundo.
Yeah.
But a brand new IROC. Canary yellow, black racing stripes, T-top.
Wow.
Right? Because that's what 17-year-olds do.
Yeah, and you're feeling like a millionaire at this time.
Billionaire. Billionaire, right?
Yeah.
Everybody treats you different.
Right.
So I did that every weekend. From that day till I graduated university, I'd make $3,000 to $4,000 working 2 days a week.
Wow.
And this is the funny part. So I was in university, so I always had cash. I couldn't get any one of my friends to do what I did because there was such a stigma around sales. There was such a stigma and people's fear of judgment. What will they say? Fear of rejection. And I'm like, look at the reward. They'd rather work for minimum wage working retail at the mall 4 or 5 days a week. And I'd work maybe 8 hours on the weekend.
Wow.
Right? And so what I realized was that if you have the right skill set and you are single-mindedly focused on what you want, where you're thinking, your feeling, and your actions are aligned with that, you're going to get there. You can't worry about rejection. You can't worry about people's approval. You can't worry about judgment. And tell me, my dad wasn't happy about it. He goes, you're supposed to be an engineer or a doctor. What are you doing? I said, Dad, it's part-time. I don't know what the future is.
Right.
Right? But for now, I get to for 8 hours, I'm earning twice what my dad was earning, maybe even more. I think that bugged him a bit too, but who knows, right? But what that got me out of was survival mode.
Right.
That got me into status mode. That got me into success mode at a young age. Like, you know what? Work it. You're going to come. So, I had accumulated significant wealth for my age by the time I graduated. I got married right out of school. I got married at the age of 23.
Wow.
Right? My wife's my life partner.
Yes.
We got married in 94. I bought her first house in 94, cash.
Wow.
Because of the money I made selling vacuums. Could you imagine this?
That's insane.
People don't believe. I'm like, look, it's and those opportunities are still there for anyone to have.
And so the model was like they're $2,500 and you get like a $500 commission.
You get a $500 commission.
And so you would just sell 20 to make, or whatever, 80 to make 40K or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was simple. It was 2 a day.
Yeah.
Right? On the weekend, you knock out 4.
Yeah.
It was just a game.
Yeah. Were you a natural salesperson?
I didn't think so. But what I learned is it's a skill. Right? It's a skill. You have to practice it. There's a lot of human psychology. And initially, you don't know what that psychology is. So if you have a trusted teacher, a trusted mentor who's going to teach you the steps, you're going to learn, right? So you learn to crawl, you learn to walk, you learn to run, then you learn the hurdles, then you learn your plays, right? So I learned that communication is all about psychology, right? And what it is that you're trying to convey. And the most important lesson that I learned, even at a young age, is authenticity. Like, I genuinely believed that I was representing the very best, and to this day, I think it's still the best product, the best thing ever made to clean your home. Like, that conviction was so pure.
Right.
Right? And then, because when you're representing the best, when you believe that you're doing the best service, or you're the best podcast interviewer, you have the best, any industry, best service industry, the best service company, the best product company, it gives you a level of confidence that comes out as authenticity and genuineness, right?
Right.
And then you have to actually do a little bit of work to understand why is it the best. You have to be able to articulate that. I don't want to sell Me Too products. I never did. I mean, this was one of the things that has led to my success, is being to say, what do people really want? If they can afford it, people want the best thing.
That's right.
Right?
So you took those lessons, you learn it through literally no experience, just school of hard knocks, just imperfect action. You build that momentum. And then I know you said your mom, she had MS that affected you tremendously. For context, can you give the audience a little bit of awareness?
Yeah, so my mom was a seamstress. She worked at the local Levi factory in Toronto, right? And she got this condition called MS, black box of health. People don't know what causes it. People didn't have a treatment still to this day. It's incurable to an extent. And I just saw the bravest, strongest woman in the world completely dependent on her family for her care. And you realize very quickly that there are priorities in life. That caring for one another in a family unit is probably the top priority. Not out of obligation, not out of guilt, but out of compassion and love.
Yes.
Right? And that's really our family unit. It's always been that way. My mom is still alive. They gave her 6 years to live. My mom is still alive. I kiss her good morning every day that I'm home. Yeah, miracle, right?
That's beautiful.
But her resilience in the face of this taught me that, you know what? You can't give up. You got to fight.
Yes.
You got to fight. For every single thing that you want in your life, you're going to have to fight. If you want your marriage to work, you're going to have to fight. You want your kids to succeed, you're going to have to fight with them. You want to succeed in business, you're going to have to fight. Whatever that is. And I think embracing the struggle, as my mom embraced her condition, taught me that, you know what, if there is a struggle, embrace it. It's inevitable.
Right.
Right? So what are you embracing? You're embracing the lesson, you're embracing the growth, you're embracing what's behind it. The success is past it. Wherever you're supposed to go, if that obstacle is in the way, you got to go through it, around it, over it, under it, but you got to get up and you got to go.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Because what's the alternative?
Quit.
If you get knocked down, what are you going to just roll around in the dust, in the dirt, or are you going to get up?
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Because listen, man, we're sitting in the studio with you, and I'll give you a real example. If I was lying face down, or if you were lying face down on the ground, how far would you see?
Nothing.
Wouldn't see far. But you're sitting in the chair now, so you just got up and you sat in the chair. How far can you see?
Yeah, see the whole thing.
Right? You see, you see more. Did you have to do anything to see more, other than get up?
No.
Just had to get up, right?
Right.
And the vision came.
Yes.
If you went to the top of this building, how far could you see?
Even more. Yeah.
What did you have to do?
Just elevate.
Get up, walk up the stairs, go to the top. You had to get up. And all of a sudden the vision, you could see clearly. The vision was natural.
Yes.
As you get up and step up, the vision to where you're going to go next comes automatically.
Expands.
It expands. People get knocked down, they just want to roll around. I go, it's not going to work. You got to get up. The whole story is getting up. What comes after is unknown, but who cares?
Yeah.
It's better than being on the ground.
And what were some of the things you witnessed with your mom with her multiple sclerosis? Like, what were some of the symptoms, just to paint the picture?
So before the diagnosis, she would get numbness in her arm and her leg. And her feeling was, and her doctor's thoughts were that, you know what, it's probably from the industrial sewing machine she was working on for 8 to 12 hours a day, that the vibration was causing some circulation issue.
Sure.
Right? And then it was, she started dragging her left foot a bit. That she didn't have that gait that she used to have. And fatigue started to set in. And then she started losing motor control on one of her arms. And that's when she went for really some deep testing, and they came back and said, this is over a couple of years. And then in 83, the diagnosis was, hey, it's MS. And her case was so progressive, she went from diagnosis to wheelchair within 2 years.
Wow.
Right. So health is the big whammy, right?
Yes.
We don't know, and these types of things, neurological conditions, you don't know what causes it. Today, we don't know what causes MS. I mean, there's conversations that it's some kind of gut bacteria or some kind of virus or this or that. But if somebody could say with any certainty what causes it, I'd be very surprised. I mean, I've been studying this thing now for the better part of 40 years.
Yeah, I know you've done a ton of research. I believe I read somewhere that over 250,000 studies on the brain.
Well, I've read a lot of research. So over the course of the last 17 years, I've probably read about 400 textbooks and about 50,000 research papers.
Wow.
It's about 500,000 pages of research. But if you're interested in learning, I believe you have to go all the way through, right? To solve problems that haven't been solved, one of the best ways to get to a solution is eliminate all the things that have been proven not to work, right? It's easier to consume research, to glean insights on what's working, what not working, instead of having to do it yourself, right? So I don't claim that I have some special insight other than that I'm willing to do the work, to invest the time, energy, money, to perhaps find a solution in a different way, right? Because medicine and engineering are very, very different, right? Engineers are hardwired to solve problems.
Right.
Right? And specifically, software engineers are very creative. Mechanical engineering is very rigid, right? There's some rules you have to follow.
That's right.
In software engineering, you don't really have to follow any rules, right? You can really, the universe is open. You can create, make, code anything that you want.
As long as there's no glitches, yeah.
Yes, well, the glitches are there too. They serve a purpose also, right? But over time, you learn to work around the glitch, and then you work around something else, right? So I think, going into that field of computer science and software engineering was probably the best field for me, right? I was very unsure which field I was going to go into, what I was going to be. If you had asked me when we were 17 years old or 18 years old, some of my friends, if you ever meet them, will tell you, this is, what are you going to be when you grow up? I was going to be rich.
Yeah, you don't know how.
I don't know how
you were. Yeah.
But that was because of that economic pressure that I had seen and the scarcity that my family had ended up in, that was what needed to get solved.
And I know you later not only consumed the research, not only became obsessed with it, but I believe I read somewhere that you dumped over $25 million of your own money. Is that correct?
Yeah. So in 2008, I, with my mom, visited 12 different countries and hundreds of specialists trying to help her with her condition, right? Only to find that the light at the end of the tunnel was always a train. So you had to come back and try it again. And for your viewers out there and your fans, I think they'll agree that neuro rehab has three main streams of help. One is some kind of chemical intervention, some kind of pill or something else. There's an electrical intervention, right? Sometimes they're implants, or there's a surgical intervention or some kind of surgery. Having looked at those and explored those for my mom, there weren't any real conclusive things that we could hang our hat on and say, this is the way we're going to. And we tried so many different things. And my question to the smartest people that I had access to, the neuro experts that were helping with my mom, was a real simple question that any engineer would ask.
Mm-hmm.
I said, we've been trying to figure out how to get the connection from her mind to her body to work again. And MS manifests as lesions in the nervous system or demyelination of the nerve cells, so the electrical signal or the neurological signal isn't getting from the mind to the body. They go, correct. I said, has anybody quantified that signal? Now you'd think after 25 years of research that I was aware of that was happening, was anybody be able to quantify it? Because I don't know how to improve or fix anything if you can't quantify it. If you don't know what it is, what are you trying to resolve?
Mm-hmm. What are you solving for? Yeah.
What are you solving for, right? And the answer that came back was, well, we don't really know how to quantify it. I'm like, okay, can we talk about the source of this signal?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the source of the signal is the brain, is the mind. And this is where things get really interesting. So neurologists, neurophysiologists will agree, neuroscientists will agree that our mind expresses neurofunction in brainwaves, alpha, beta, delta, theta, gamma. And these brainwaves connect one region, one neuron with another region, another neuron, right?
That's right.
And these bridges form these complex meshes of connectivity called neural networks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they regulate every physiological function that our body is using, from pain management to stress management to muscle recruitment, vestibular response. But somehow these brainwaves, once they leave the mind and they go out the brainstem, they become an electrical impulse.
Mm.
We don't know how. We still don't know how. That's what the mind-body connection is.
They still don't know how.
We don't know. We don't know the exact mechanism of how that happens or why it happens.
There's no way to measure that.
Yeah, there is. But you have to understand, what are we measuring first, right? So my thinking was, and my theory was, that if I could isolate the programs for muscle recruitment and vestibular response, maybe I could help my mom,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's what started this journey, trying to understand, how does neurofunction work? How do we identify it? What's normal neurofunction? How do you quantify it?
Mm-hmm.
And that led to really deep understanding of EEG, QEEG, large databases that have been collected over decades now,
Mm-hmm.
that become the normative database for studying neurofunction, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a number of databases out there that do that. And they're usually nonprofit. You can get them for a small investment that lets you use inside the database. What I found was that the database, although very robust, the analytical software that came with the database wasn't sufficiently robust enough to help deduce those different neural networks, right? So the first thing that in this journey was writing software, writing analytical software that could help me analyze that database. So that took about 4.5, 5 years of just sitting down and just coding and understanding. And really, it's just signal processing and pattern recognition. And once you understand that it's just math, then things become a lot easier to conceptualize.
Why do you think it wasn't so popular in that form?
In which form?
Like in the sense that you were sitting down to do, break down the codify it, so to speak, but in an industry that's been around for decades, why did other people not approach it the same way?
I think a lot of it has to do with ideology. A lot of it has to do with dogma in terms of, this is what we understand and it has to be this way.
Status quo. Yeah.
Status quo and really dogma, right? I think people feel really constrained to be creative in trying to solve a problem,
Mm-hmm.
right? I wasn't trying to be a doctor or an MD. I was just trying to find the variables in a very complex equation.
Like a creative software engineer.
Like a creative software engineer, right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see, what are the variables that we know, what are the variables we don't know, and how does this all fit together?
Mm-hmm.
Not with the intention of being right. It was curiosity.
Mm.
And curiosity gives you ultimate freedom.
That's right.
I don't need to be right,
Yeah.
right? Because that's not the intention there. The intention is, how does this work? Can I understand this?
To scratch and sniff, so to speak.
Scratch and sniff, right?
Yeah.
What happens if this happens? What happens if this happens? What happens if this happens? And the other thing that was very liberating is that I didn't need anyone's permission or resources or money or time to do it.
You had all those.
I had all of that. No, but if it wasn't, I trust you. I mean, the serendipity of the things that have happened in my life and the eventual consequential things that have come out of it, if I didn't have my personal resources to do it, no one was going to invest in this idea.
Mm-hmm.
This had to be a soul-driven thing that no one was going to buy into, because they're like, Jay, the doctors are telling me, it's not software, Jay. Stick to what you know. And I'm like, I am. So you tell me how this works and we'll do it your way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, listen, if you have the right way to do it, I'll bet on you. Let's go. But they've been trying for 25 years.
Yeah.
So what are you left with? You're left with, this way's not working. This way's not working. So either accept and stay in the status quo, or say, you know what? I have the time, resources, energy, desire, mindset, and purpose to see, and I didn't know if there was going to be a solution at the end.
Yeah.
Right? What I didn't know was this. I didn't need anybody's permission to go look for it.
Yeah.
And it was this incremental approach of deduction, of experimentation, of little eureka moments.
And how much time or money did you spend into this research?
Listen, before our first product, my first product that I actually made was a pair of socks and insoles.
Mm-hmm.
This
is the Vox Life?
The Vox Life products, right?
Yes.
That was a little north of 10 million at that point into that.
Mm-hmm.
Another 15 beyond that to finalize the patches.
Mm-hmm.
So before the first patch came out, we were about 25 million into it. And then the whole, the product portfolio now, we're about $40 million into just hard R&D and testing and research.
Hey guys, we'll get back to the video in a sec. But first, quick question for you business owners watching. Are you really using AI to grow your business profitably? Or are you leaving money on the table? Well, thanks to today's sponsor, High Level, you can now put AI to work for you and your business 24/7. High Level is the #1 all-in-one marketing and CRM platform that replaces dozens of those scattered apps with one powerful, easy-to-use dashboard. It's like having your own AI assistant running your business around the clock 24/7, writing your emails and texts, following up with leads instantly, booking appointments, building funnels and websites, managing your calendar, and even collecting reviews to grow your reputation and maximize your profits. Thousands of entrepreneurs and agencies are already scaling faster with it, including me and our business. And here's the best part. You can get started today with an exclusive 30-day high-level trial completely free if you click the link in the description below. So don't wait. Start your free trial and let's start growing your business today. Thanks to High Level for sponsoring this video. And now let's get back to the show.
What percent of your net worth was that at the time that you were investing into those projects?
When I started, in hindsight, you can say, well, Jay, that's not a lot, right? But so maybe 10%.
Yeah.
Right. So, but, I think when I started, I was probably scratching about 250 in net worth. People are like, well, you had 25 million to invest. I go, that's one way to look at it. The other way,
does it still feel like a lot or relatively? Not
no,
really?
I never thought, listen, this is perspective, right?
Right.
Once I started, I didn't know what it was going to take.
Right. So you were in it already.
I was in it, number one.
Yeah.
And if it took another 50, I probably would have spent it too.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's iterative.
It's iterative, right? And then imagine you see the answer to health and wellness on the other side of a glass screen.
Mm-hmm.
And it could solve and help the world in ways that you never imagined. And it's right there. You can see it.
Mm-hmm.
You can quantify it with your eyes and theorize what it is. What would you do to get through that glass?
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where I found myself, that I could see what this needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
It was just figuring out how to get through those few roadblocks of actualizing it and actually making it and creating it so it could be physical.
Mm-hmm. And what grew your initial net worth? Obviously, I know it was, kind of, you mentioned the .com boom, but then after that with Vox Life, Vox
was after. So after the .com thing, as I was saying, there was a big correction. You have to get back up.
Right.
So just as I saw that online security, internet security was a burgeoning field. The big burgeoning field at that point in time was the cell phone revolution, right?
Yeah.
It was just coming, like cell phones were the next big thing. I imagined that it would probably be the next big technological revolution that was going to change how we lived, how we communicated. And I was able to position myself as a master distributor for a small company called Nokia.
Wow.
Right. And
how did you get that deal with Nokia?
I found a master distributor for Nokia in New Delhi. He wanted to retire. His kids didn't want anything with the business. I spent 6 months with him, and he sold me the business. He sold me the distributorship rights.
How'd you find him?
Hard work. 2 months of knocking on cell phone shops in New Delhi. Who do you buy from? 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 Who do you buy from?
Yeah.
Right? And then just being polite and just asking for help, for guidance. If I wanted to buy a little bit more product, who would I call? And eventually, sweetheart of a man.
Right.
Gentlest guy you'll ever meet in your world, right?
Right.
And he says, okay, no problem. And, and then we did a deal. And I knew exactly what it was. Like, I had staff with 3 people in New Delhi. 3 people. We sold 10 million handsets in 3 years.
Oh my goodness. Team of 3.
Yeah. I came back here. I set up the team there. 3 people. 10 million handsets in 3 years.
Wow.
And then something horrible happened in 2006.
What?
There's something called an iPhone that was just coming out. Remember?
Yes, sir.
It was right around the corner.
Yep.
And I knew the gig was up.
So you saw the writing on the wall.
I saw the writing on the wall. So I sold it to one of the largest national carriers, my distributorship.
Wow.
And I exited.
Oh, so you sold the whole thing?
Yeah.
Smart man.
You had to get out.
So a recurring theme I see, and not just with yourself, but other entrepreneurs, is that you're always essentially you having a pulse to the future.
Absolutely key.
And so you're playing chess, anticipating the next moves of the future, whether they swing in your favor or against it. Whereas people on the lower income level, so to speak, are like trying to make money this week or this month. People that think in bigger time horizons tend to be the ones that, are bigger players in industry.
Yeah, I think the key to success is anticipating what the next big thing is and positioning yourself as a player and as an expert in that. So if it's service, you got to be the expert in that service level, right? If it's a product, what's the next big product? How do I position myself to be a player in that field? It's the key. So
owning the future.
Own the future, right? Does it always work? No. So you have to think, you have to really, you have to have guts.
Yeah.
Right? And you got to bet big. Right? Little bets, little wins.
Right.
Right? And you got to get rid of that fear of loss, that if it doesn't work. Because once you've lost a lot and you've made it back, then it's like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. You're used to it.
You're used to you understand that it's not the end of the world. Right? So that was great. And then after that, with the emergence of apps, I made some good strategic plays and positioned myself in some emerging platforms for gaming, it did really well with that.
What do you think you saw in trends that others didn't? Like, why do you think it was more intuitive to you? What was it? It was just you had a pulse to it. I know we talked off camera that you did meditation, so you developed your inner intuitiveness. What do you think? I mean, it probably felt natural to you, but I'm sure you have lots of people that ask you questions, and to you, you're kind of like, it wasn't as hard as you guys are making it seem, right? Or some element of that. What do you think you did to develop that
That's
skill?
a great question. I think my intuitive abilities have really been enhanced by mindfulness and meditation.
Wow.
I think being able to absorb and listen and parse a lot of information, number one. Number two is I'm a voracious consumer of information. I read an immense amount of information daily without stop. Right? Otherwise, you're in the dark, right? And the internet has made this a global economy.
True.
things happening in China affect us. Things happening in California affect things happening in Japan, which affect things happening in Australia.
Right.
Right? And there are big economic waves in technology. And the reality is this: technology has created the greatest amount of wealth in any other industry in the history of mankind.
True.
Look at the biggest companies in the world. Okay? And so disruptive technology has always changed the world. Somebody, once upon a time, made the first wheel. Somebody made the first lever.
Yes.
Somebody made the steam engine. We had the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah. Cotton mill. Yeah.
Right? Printing press. Somebody made a telephone. Somebody made the first PC. Somebody made a fax machine. Somebody made software. Somebody made Excel. Somebody made Word. And every time, and then somebody made the internet. Somebody made social media. Right? Every time that's happened, the world has changed in a way that we couldn't even have contemplated. Back in 95, when the World Wide Web came online, we didn't foresee what we have today. I don't think anybody did. I didn't.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to go and it's going to go far, but the ecosystem that's developed on it is just unimaginable.
It's wild.
It's wild, right?
Yeah.
And now there's another burgeoning thing that you're aware of and I'm aware of. It's called AI. And it's gaining so much speed and it's growing so fast that it's actually seemingly getting out of grasp, right? So this notion of technology transforming the world and disruptive technology changing the world is something that I've lived now in my career for the better part of 32 years now, okay? But what we focused on with the companies that I'm working with and the products that I've developed is not AI. It's OI. It's original intelligence. It's the intelligence we are born with. Because we are pre-programmed with all of the neural networks we need to regulate our body and regulate our life, right?
Right.
No one taught us pain. No one taught us how to use our arms. No one teaches us how to breathe. No one teaches us how to walk. Ambulatory control, stress, mood, fear. We don't learn any of these things, right? These are pre-programmed. The notion of original intelligence is that genetic programming of our mind. And the way your heart software, the software of your mind, from the minute that we're born. And think about it. This is done the minute, like, we're born. This is already programmed. And it's that autonomic system that I've been studying for the last 17 years, how to speak to it, because it doesn't speak English.
I like that.
It doesn't speak English.
I like that.
The mind does not speak English.
Right.
The conscious mind might.
Right. The
but
logical mind that trips us up.
No, the language part, right? That's
Right.
English.
Yeah.
Or whatever language. In France, it's French. In Russia, it's Russian.
It's a social construct, man-made.
We teach it to ourselves,
Right.
right? But underneath it,
Wow.
something that's a million times bigger than that is our subconscious autonomic system.
Yes.
And that's what's running the program. That's the operating system.
Yeah, it's running the show. Yeah.
It's running the show. And it doesn't care what language you want to speak.
Right.
It doesn't care.
Yeah.
And you can't speak to it consciously, really. Right?
Yes.
So that's what we're speaking to. And what does it understand? It understands what the language that it expresses. What does it express? It expresses waves. It expresses brain waves. All it understands is frequency. It doesn't understand anything else. It's not chemical in nature. It's a wave. It's energetic. I'm not saying that. That's just science.
Right.
Right? I can put a headset on you or anybody in the studio and we can measure your brain waves, where they're starting and where they're terminating, and its amplitude and its makeup and its power, and we can isolate the neural networks and say, oh man, that's Omar's stress network right there. Pretty calm today. Or if not, it could be the other way around. We could see it. I'm not looking at chemical biomarkers. I'm not measuring your neurotransmitter levels. Right? So if the only language that it understands is waves, then as somebody that believes in physics, somebody that believes in mathematics, as a coder, then it's just signal processing. Now it's just math. And really smart people have done the hard work in understanding signal math, processing, signal processing, Fourier transforms, Laplace transforms. These are things that have been developed over the last 2 centuries to understand how we can affect waves, right? So that's what I've been studying. I haven't been studying anything else, right? And it fell into a skill set that I had trained for, which was coding, mathematics, and science. And it fascinates me. So my curiosity gets the best of me of, okay, how is this possible? And we use it every day.
Right.
This isn't new, right? So as I was developing this and I was going down this rabbit hole of understanding, because we all talk about the mind-body connection, right, Omar? The mind is connected to the body. I'm like, quantify it, number one. So what we've done over the last 17 years is isolate those different neural networks that help regulate different physiological functions. And then figured out how to stimulate the skin to correct those back into factory reset.
Hey guys, we'll get right back to this video in a sec, but first, I have a quick question for you. Given that the e-commerce industry is growing by the trillions year over year, have you ever dreamed of owning your own e-commerce business like many of the guests we've had on the show, but maybe you feel stuck on how to start? Well, if so, you're not alone. The truth is, starting and setting up your own online store can be incredibly time-consuming, complicated, and get expensive. Not to mention the hassle of researching top products and staying on top of market trends that make you money. Lucky for you, that's where today's sponsor, StoreBuild.ai, comes in. With StoreBuild.ai, you instantly get a free custom-built, AI-driven store loaded with 20 winning products and a custom theme that can help you generate sales. All you need to do is head to StoreBuild.ai, enter your info, then simply sign up to Shopify for free, choose your store's look and feel, and voila! They'll send you your custom-built store ready to generate sales. The whole process is lightning fast. Whether you're just starting out or want to grow, StoreBuild.ai makes launching an online store easier than ever. So why wait? Visit StoreBuild.ai and in less than 5 minutes, you could have the e-commerce business you've always dreamed of. Thanks to StoreBuild.ai for sponsoring this video. And now let's get back to the show. And that's going into the Super Patch company. Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about that, because I was listening to some interviews for audience who may not know about Super Patch. It's fascinating technology because you talk about it similar to like Braille, for example, right? When someone is blind, they can touch Braille, it sends a signal, and there's an understanding there. So can you talk to somebody who might not know about Super Patch and just the function and form in which why you developed the product that way you did?
Fair enough. And I apologize for some of the complexity on it, so I'm going to try to make it as simple so we can all appreciate the real simplicity of this thing, right?
Yeah.
As I said before, every physiological function we have has a neural program. It's like an app running in our brain.
Right.
In our mind, that's composed of brainwaves.
Whether we know it or not.
Whether we know that it's there because we can see it.
Right.
We can read it with proper sensors and EEGs and convert those into QEEGs. We can isolate those things. We can see them. We can see those brainwaves. We can measure those brainwaves. So I spent 17 years isolating the different programs that regulate different physiological function. This is a process of studying normative databases and developing proprietary software that I've written over the last 17 years that allows me to recognize patterns inside the patterns. It's complex, takes a lot of time, a lot of effort to do that, right? But once we've isolated those neural networks, and if they're not operating properly, compared to that normative database, right? So the normative database says that, hey, your pain network's supposed to be operating this way. But if somebody has some chronic pain issues, it's operating a different way. And I'm just looking at that set of waves. So wave science tells me, quantum wave math tells me, signal processing tells me that the only way to affect those waves, those complex sine waves, is to send complementary constructive waves, constructive interference to move those waves into normative function. Right? That's all we're doing. So we're sending waves to the mind. So how do we do that? We have a few options. The first question I must ask is, how do waves get into our mind without anything, right? So through our eyes, light waves come through our eyes and they become brain waves, right? People are like, what do you mean? I said, that photon that goes into your retina becomes a brain wave, which becomes a movie, which becomes a memory, right?
Yes.
That sound wave that you're hearing me, that sound wave that's going through your ear is becoming a brainwave in your mind. It's no longer a sound wave. There's no speaker in your brain, right?
Right.
There's no amplifier there, right? It's a brainwave. You're processing this as a brainwave.
Right.
So you see me, right? And you're hearing me, but somehow your mind is coordinating the speed of light with the speed of sound at the same time.
Yeah.
There should be a gap. There should be a gap, right?
A lag time. Yeah. Yeah.
But somehow there isn't.
right.
We're processing it. So, okay, how else is information getting to our mind? Through the sense of touch.
Touch. Yeah.
Okay. So the thing that started renting space in my head was this notion of Braille. How do people that are visually impaired, how do they read?
Mm-hmm.
They touch small bits of texture. People say, well, Jay, they've learned that texture. I said, that's fine. But the sensation is still coming from the tip of the finger.
Mm-hmm.
There's an electrical impulse that went from the tip of the finger. It traveled up your finger, up your peripheral nervous system, up your spinal column, into the brainstem, and it became a letter.
Right.
There's no typewriter in our brain, right?
Right.
It accessed the somatosensory cortex first, which recognizes sensation on our skin,
Mm-hmm.
and it coordinated with our frontal cortex to say, oh, that's the letter A. And it recalled what the letter A is.
Mm-hmm.
And this happens how fast? Pretty instantly, right? So that's that. So I'm like, how's that? Like, what is the, I'm interested in the mechanism. Forget about the letter A. It could be anything.
Right.
Okay. So my question is, how? Because if our skin can read, then the only thing that matters is what you're writing on it.
I see what you're saying.
So whereas A, now I'll go back to what I said before, whereas A is something we've learned that these dots make the letter A. We've learned A.
Right.
Okay. Remember I talked to you about the pre-programming that we come with? So that program for pain is pre-programmed.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to learn it. It's already there.
Yeah. Hot stove. You don't have to learn that hot means ow. It's intuitive.
Yeah. Right? We didn't need to learn that. So my theory was, will our mind recognize the pre-programmed signal when it comes into the body?
Without any kind of training.
Without training.
Right.
I didn't know it was possible. So it's pure curiosity and pure
Hypothesis. Yeah.
pure hypothesis, right? It's like, okay, let's try it. So what took the hardest part, the longest part, was figuring out a system of sensation that could replicate that pre-programmed set of waves.
Right.
So we spent a lot of time, energy, money developing that system. That system we call VTT. That system is speaking to the OI that we're programmed with. And we do it through skin sensation, just like Braille, where in Braille, we put our fingers on the texture. With Super Patch, we've embedded and embossed that system of stimulation, that pattern of stimulation onto the patch, and we put it on our skin. It's triggering the receptors, the ion channels, the free nerve endings to collaboratively send a very complex signal that we consciously can't recognize.
Mm-hmm.
But the autonomic system, what did I say, doesn't speak English.
Yes.
It recognizes it. And it's like a tuning fork, and it reminds the autonomic system of what that program should be resonating at. And it brings it back to that system of balance, brings it back to homeostasis. And we can show this in EEG readings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like take my word for it. We can show this in a clinical setting with recognized equipment. We take a reading. We put the readings on the screen. We put the patch on in real time. We see those networks coming back into homeostasis, back into balance.
Wow.
We can show that.
Wow. That's
Okay?
incredible.
Studies are there. We can also measure the efficacy of what we're saying. So we've got peer-reviewed published studies on PubMed that look at pain, that look at sleep, that look at stress. We have studies coming out that look at athletic performance, that look at things like power output and VO2 max output, right? Why? Because ultimately the result has to be of benefit to the user, right? So we get away from just the theoretical sense of changing brainwaves into actual physical benefit that's coming out of the application of the product, right? Because what's the goal? The goal is drug-free health and wellness. Can we improve people's quality of life without introducing chemical intervention or electrical intervention
Or another pill.
or another pill.
Right.
And not that I have anything against pills,
Right.
right? But that wasn't what I wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm not an organic chemist. I'm not a biochemist, right? And frankly, I think they're overused, right? If somebody has a staph infection, get some penicillin. Absolutely, right? And it's not a replacement for nutrition. People think, well, are you against nutrition? No, you can't live a healthy life without nutrition and exercise. I mean, that's a given. You need to have both. Clean nutrition, eat healthy, stay mobile, stay active, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there are things that affect our neurology, right? Stress is one of those things. Illnesses are one of those things. Our environment affects how well our neurology is working, how well those programs are working. But because we can't speak to it consciously, we need a mechanism, we need a tool to help restore it back to factory reset. And so far, from my understanding, we probably have the lead on a global level of a technology that's safe, that's effective, that helps restore that neurofunction to baseline.
Dude, that's incredible. How many different prototypes of Super Patch did you try before launching publicly?
Oh man, thousands. Thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands.
And for people who don't know, where can they get Super Patch, and what are the different specialties or SKUs you guys have in terms of areas of focus?
So we've got 13 different products that help with 13 different benefits. So we have the Freedom Patch for pain management. Studies show reduction in pain, more mobility, works fast, lasts 24 hours. We have a product for better sleep quality, reduce stress, mood enhancement. So people are feeling sad, they can not feel so sad. And we have something to help optimize calorie burns. We have solutions that can help people with balance and stability for mobility. So 13 different solutions. They're available on our website at superpatch.com. And the response has been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I think the world, if you did a marketing research on what the world is looking for in their health and wellness products, drug-free solution is going to come back as their number one requirement. People want safe solutions. They don't want contraindications. They don't want side effects. They want affordable. They want accessible. They want easy to use.
Yeah, I know most ads that have medical products. I mean, it's like those pharmaceutical companies at the end, it's like half the commercial is like, may cause diarrhea, bloating, sadness, depression, suicide. Yeah, it like never ends. Yeah.
There's a reason for that, right? The reason for that is this. From my beliefs, my analysis of it, our entire healthcare system has been designed to fight infectious diseases. Once upon a time, smallpox, polio, measles were killing us in the millions and just devastating humanity. So really smart people figured out how to fight that through vaccines and antibiotics and different things. Okay? And the entire system has been built on that. What's happened is as we've wiped those things out to a large degree, even at a global level, we're living longer. We're not being wiped out by polio and smallpox. We're being tormented by things like chronic pain, stress,
Right.
poor sleep.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
Well, the nature of it has changed, but the system is designed to make the other thing, right? So we got two different paradigms at work here. We live in a world suffering from chronic challenges with a system designed to fight infectious diseases. So there's a big gap. This is why everything's a pill, because the system is designed to make a pill, right? It's designed to make a pill, right? I don't blame doctors. I don't blame the system. This is societal, right? Nutrition is only recently in the last while become an important part of conversations about managing our health and our wellness.
Absolutely. Even most doctors don't even talk about it.
Right? How important is it?
Oh, it's integral.
It's integral, right?
And they never talk about it.
We don't talk about it.
This pill, take that.
Right.
Yeah, try to eat healthy, but that's besides the point. Yeah.
And so, because the solution is at the end of a prescription pad.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That they get kickbacks on. Yeah.
Well, listen, it's a complex system.
Sure.
It's a very complex system, right? So my goal is, what other alternatives do we have here? Do we have a complementary thing that I can introduce to the world that doesn't ask them to change their lifestyle? I don't ask them to change their diet. I don't ask them to change where they live, how they live. Here's something that's going to speak to your autonomic system, that's going to elevate you wherever you are to a higher level of function and quality of life, right? The key part of that mission, though, is to make sure that it's affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's not affordable, then we're not going to get it to the people that need it the most. And affordability is key.
And what's the price point of the Super Patch products?
Anywhere between $60 to $70 for a month supply.
Wow. And what do you say to people who say, Jay, this sounds great, but these super patches seem foo-foo, or I don't really believe the science behind it?
Well, I hear that a lot. And my response to them is the studies would disagree with them. There's a reason we do these studies. They're expensive, they're time consuming. And the data that we get back and the results that we get back, and we do placebo-controlled studies. So this is not the placebo effect. Right? There's a p-value of 0.001.
Which means what?
Which means that there's less than 1 out of 1,000% chance that this is placebo, that this is fake data, that this is real. At the highest level of certainty that we can have in clinical research, it's the gold standard 0.001 in terms of p-value, right? So sometimes people have a hard time getting past their own lack of understanding to their belief system, right? But if I ask you, do you believe that the mind regulates the body?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you'd agree that a better operating mind is going to lead to a better operating body?
Absolutely.
Okay. So then the question is, how do we measure what the quality of the neurofunction is? You have to go through this in a step-by-step process, and they're like, oh my God. I go, the only thing that people can question is, what is the exact pattern in the math that you did to figure out the stimulation pattern? That's proprietary. There's a lot of money invested in it, so we don't share that.
Right.
We don't share the software that we use to deduce it. There's two things that we protect. The science and the math of figuring out how the stimulation pattern works, number one. Number two, the software and the science and the math of deducing those neural networks. Everything else is available to study and scrutiny, right?
Yes.
And so we work with University of Arizona with their D1 athletes. This is a massive university, right? So, and whatever they find, they're going to publish.
Right.
Right? So with D1 athletes, we saw a 10% improvement in performance.
Wow.
We just finished a pilot study with the NHS out of the UK in collaboration with Cambridge University. We see an 11% improvement in VO2 max with our athletic performance patch. We did a double-blind study with Dr. Gooden of the University of Miami on our pain patch, RCT study with placebo control. We see statistically significant reduction in back pain and improvements in range of motion, published on PubMed. I mean, all we can do is prove that the product works. I don't ask people to understand the science because, listen, we don't know the exact mechanism of 90% of the drugs that are prescribed to us.
Right, and we don't question them.
No, we don't question why, because they came on a white piece of paper called a prescription.
Yeah, and everyone else takes them too, so F it, why not? Yeah.
Right? But I'll tell you this, what's the risk of taking something that has no chemicals, no side effects? Not much.
Yeah.
Right?
It's true.
And we offer a money-back guarantee for the simple reason if we can't deliver value to somebody, then they should have the right to have their money back, right? So we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Try the product. The best thing is your life will change for the better.
And there's very few competitors. I haven't even
There
seen
isn't any
anything.
competitors for it. Like, I mean, not to brag, but I think we're at least 50 years ahead of anybody on the market in terms of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right? And now we're planning even more studies, right?
How many customers have you guys reached? Because I'm sure
We're
the company's
a
been
couple of
growing
million
crazy.
customers. A couple of million customers.
And that was organic growth initially, or how did you guys get
Organic.
that much reach?
Organic.
Just word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Wow.
Word of mouth.
That's incredible.
Or because the product worked.
Yeah.
If it didn't work, it'd be a different conversation. I probably wouldn't be here. Right? And the reason
Right.
we do this, so people say, well, why do you do this? Like, what's with the studies? I said, if we do a study and the product doesn't work, that means I got to go back and design a better product. It's a different mindset. The mindset is to make the best product.
Yeah.
Because if I'm committed to that whatever we make has to be the best. And that is a liberating philosophy in business. We only make the best.
Yeah, the best or nothing.
Best or nothing, right? And if it's not the best, get there. Invest the time, the resources, the R&D, hire better people. Whatever you have to do, cross that chasm of mediocrity. Who wants a Me Too product? I don't. I don't want to represent it. I don't want to make it. I don't want to sell it. I don't invest my time into it. Not interested in that. It's no fun. I don't think so.
Yeah,
right?
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
I just think everybody says like, yeah, you're right. If you could do anything, wouldn't you want to do the best thing?
Absolutely.
Whatever it is, right? And this is what I've learned in my life is success follows greatness. Success follows the best, right?
Yes.
The thing that we added to this that makes it so compelling is we're not priced out of the market. So we do market testing to figure out what is the right price for this product, where we can reach that economic balance of reaching and being available to the largest number of people and still have an economic model that allows us to keep going, keep growing, keep reinvesting.
And to a lot of our audience, a big focus for them is entrepreneurs, young hustlers, sales professionals. In terms of cognitive performance, A, do you guys have a patch for that?
Yes.
And B, I wanted to ask is, a common theme in your success and your journey and your passion for your products is you being a pioneer in a certain context, right? You being first to market or early to market, so to speak. I wanted to ask, as a leader, how challenging has it been, if at all, to find, partners and the right team around you to build when you're a pioneer? Because half the battle is excelling the vision. So what lessons have you learned from that? Because I know that's got to be part of a very tough and lonely journey.
It is.
That you probably don't get a lot of credit for. As a fellow entrepreneur, I appreciate it, right?
Like we talked about, what you went through
exactly
when no one knows what this media that you're a part of now and in a big player in. When you started, it was just a vision, right?
Oh yeah, I'm trying to convince video guys and audio guys. Yeah, I'm going to do the show. I'm going to interview these people. What's this for? My parents, what are you doing? Why get a job? Why are you interviewing these people? Right?
Likewise, right?
Yeah.
And so, two things. Part of my success. First, because when you don't have the resources, you have to figure out how you're going to get those resources.
Yeah, step one.
And this is what's worked for me. Find a vision and a mission that aligns with who you are as a person and use that as a vehicle to get to where you need to get to. Right? I saw the emerging internet and online security as that vehicle, that I could be the best at something and really great at it. And that would give me my first step towards success.
Even though you had no clue how to do it initially.
Well, though you're going to learn along the way.
Follow the path.
But you got to commit to growing. You got to commit to learning. You got to commit to saying, I'm going to be the very best at this, whatever it takes. Right? So there's a million amazing stories and a million amazing missions in the world. Right? Find one that aligns with you. If you don't have the resources yourself to chase whatever you want that you want, you got to get the first nest egg going, right? And become the best at that and then accumulate, right? Because otherwise it's going to be very hard to sell people on your dream because people right now look for a track record of success.
Right.
Right? In today's world, rich is right. The richer you are, the righter you are.
I love that.
Isn't it true though?
Yeah, it's true.
It's true, right?
Even if you're not right.
Even if you're not right.
Yeah, if you got the nicer car, the bigger house,
you're right.
He's got to be doing something right.
He's got to be doing something right.
Yeah.
Right? So unless you're there, you got to align yourself with a mission and a vision that aligns with who you are as a person and commit to it and become the best at delivering on that. Once you learn to deliver value to another mission, another vision, and find your way there, you're going to learn from that process of what it takes to have your own and build your own and execute your own.
How important has meditation and mindfulness been to that process? I know we talked about it earlier, but the reason I ask is because there's so many people that work hard, do the due diligence, they know what they're passionate about, they know what their vision is, but for whatever reason, it's foggy about what's the vehicle to get me to that next level, or what's the, what's the X thing to take me from where I'm at to that breakthrough thing. How important has mindfulness meditation been to break you through that seal that a lot of people seem to get stuck in?
Critical, because it allows you to filter the noise. In today's world, we're probably throwing 1,000 ideas a day about the next thing. right?
That's right. Swipe up.
Swipe up. Just it's real, right? So it's much harder today than it was because the amount of stimulant and information coming our way, the distractions are limitless.
And the quality of the information.
It's garbage. It's garbage, right? And so what we're suffering from is something called the cost switch effect. And this is neurologically documented. That most people are on 6 different platforms, especially young people. And they're switching from one thing to another thing. They're liking, they're posting, they're texting,
That's so true.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so this thing called the mind, it likes shortcuts. It's always trying to solve the problem the fastest way. So what it gets done then is it gets stuck in the switching loop and not on the focus loop.
Instagram, Gmail,
all of it,
text message,
yes,
WhatsApp.
This cost switch effect has completely eroded the ability to focus. The average attention span for people in college right now, young people in college, is 90 seconds. You ask me how important is meditation and mindfulness? It is almost as important as breathing. We have to bring our ability to focus back online. It's one of the products that we developed. It's called the Focus Patch. It brings your attention network back online in 15 minutes, right? Because if we can't focus, how are we ever going to succeed at whatever we start? And to filter the noise and look at what's in front of us and evaluate it with clarity and conscious clarity, right? So what meditation does for me is it eliminates the noise. And the clarity comes, right? And the reality is this. There might be 3 options in front of you. Pick one and go for it. Most people go one way and they're going toward it. First obstacle, they stop. First distraction, they stop.
Right.
And it didn't go their way, they stop. Oh, nothing ever works out for me. I'm like, no, you got to get up and you got to keep going. Right? If I could teach anyone anything, is that you have to be resilient. You have to be resilient. And you have to get up. And you have to have a single-mindedness of what it is that you want. Don't worry about the how you're going to get there. What you want and why do you want it? Those both very important. So if you don't know why you want, the obstacles you're going to face, and they're going to be significant, are going to make it not worth it.
Right. Yeah.
The why is what makes the fight worthwhile.
Yeah. The why's got to be greater than the obstacles. Yeah.
It's got to be greater than the obstacles. The how doesn't matter.
Right.
There's a lot of hows.
Right.
The how will reveal itself, and it'll change over time. What you want is absolutely key. Most people in today's, I think, and I could be wrong, but I read somewhere that most people just want to be famous now. Right? That the currency of today is fame. The question they have to ask themselves is, and then what?
Exactly. Short-term time horizon.
And then what?
Yeah.
And then what? So asking that follow-up question for our own life, of our own self-actualization, is then what? Who am I in 5 years? Who am I in 10 years? Who am I in 15 years? Who am I in 20 years? If we don't know who we want to be in 5 years or 10 years, we're going to be right where we are. Maybe 1 or 2 degrees one way or the other. Right? It takes that focus, that clarity in our own mind of where we want to be ourselves, and what our environment's going to look like, and what my family's going to look like, and how I'm going to be living, and what am I going to be doing, and why is that important to me? And the why is so personal. People think you have to share it. I'm thinking you have to know it for yourself, and that'll drive you, right? But it's the resilience, because people quit.
What's the biggest misconception about building a 9-figure net worth, being on this side of the fence, that you may have not realized when you were, young and aspiring for it, that people might not realize? Like, being on the side of the fence you are, what's the biggest misconception about growing your wealth that people, looking up to it might not realize or might misassume, so to speak?
There's phases, but I mentor some young people. I said, listen, there's phases to this. There's survival mode. You get out of it, you get some success. You keep working at it, and you get to freedom. And most people stop. Then there's something called purpose that comes after that, right? to achieve economic freedom is different for everybody, what they want out of it and what they don't want out of it, right? But what I find that what I do isn't work, right?
It's a mission.
It's a mission. But if people want to accumulate wealth so they don't have to work or do something, they're probably not going to get there. The richest guy in the world still works 100 hours a week.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right. Elon Musk.
Yeah. That dude is a machine.
Yeah.
He works 80 to 100 hours a week.
He's driven by the vision. Yeah.
He's driven by what he's going to contribute.
Yeah. Not a nice house and a nice car.
Right.
And a bunch of
that's what
chilling
gets
on
you
the
there.
beach. Yeah.
That's what gets you there.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps you there.
That's right.
If you're working hard so you don't have to work, you're not going to get to that rarefied space.
Right.
It's not going to happen. I'm telling you right now, because it's going to take so much of you. It's going to ask you to almost sacrifice everything that you think is so precious. Your time, your energy, your sleep, your peace of mind, your financial stability. It's going to, and if you don't manage it well, your relationships, everything's going to be tested. Everything's going to be tested.
That's incredible, man. What about in terms of the biggest challenges that even present day you still deal with? I know we talked a little bit about how challenging it is to find the right team or get the right people on board, but what are some things being on this side of the fence that are the biggest challenges maybe that present day you're dealing with that you could share with the next generation in terms of piece of advice as a CEO of a multi-8, 9-figure company?
The key for me and our success is the team. Align yourself with high integrity, highly intelligent, and highly energetic, motivated people who align on those principles with you. And what we, this is something that Reid Hoffman lectured once. He says, you got to have talent density.
What do you mean by that?
Every person on our executive team can do the job of 5 people. Our managers, our executive managers are the biggest individual contributors to their department. They got to be the best at what they do.
They can get in the trenches.
My creative director is the best creative genius in that. He's got a big team, but he's the best. My ops guy, he's got a big team. He's King Kong. He knows.
How do you recruit the best talent? What have you found is the key to that?
They're looking for purpose because they've already accomplished a lot of things. They want to make a contribution that's going to change, that's going to be felt and measured empirically in that organization. And that you have to, if you want to hire a unicorn, you have to pay them like unicorns.
And A players like to work with other A players.
They only want to work with A players. Mediocrity frustrates them.
Yep.
Right? And you have to pay them unicorn money.
Especially in this generation, I feel like, because it's very challenging to find people when there's so many new opportunities. Essentially, one thing I heard, I even interviewed billionaire John Paul DeJoria, founder of Patron Tequila,
Yes.
Paul Mitchell. He said, Omar, the biggest challenge in our business is people.
It is.
Is hiring people. It's
always
not
the people.
sales, it's not marketing, it's none of that stuff. It's literally just the people to fulfill and grow it.
Yes.
And he goes, as generations go on, I find it more and more challenging. Most challenges in business actually get easier as you ascend and grow. Obviously there's things of scale, but he goes, ask any billionaire ever. They will tell you people is the biggest challenge.
It is the biggest challenge. Always will be. Right?
Recruiting A players.
Recruiting A players and keeping A players.
That's true. Retaining them, yeah. Especially in a world where people would want to poach them right away, or your competitors will pay them double to get them on their team tomorrow.
It's a challenge, right? So you've got to bring, the economics is important, but you have to help very clearly help them understand the contribution they're making to your business, right? It's people drift apart on teams because somebody feels that they're doing more than the other person,
right? And then resentment builds.
Right? So it's that unrecognized effort. That's the core root of resentment, right? And that recognition is so key. Right? I need to know the weight my team is carrying that I might not be aware of.
Yeah.
right? I need to know that. And that communication at that level, at your C-level suite, needs to be transparent. What is my sales head? What weight is that person carrying that I'm not aware of?
Mm-hmm.
What weight is my ops leader carrying that I'm not aware of? Because these are super responsible people.
Right.
They're high performers.
Mm-hmm.
And to keep them that, they need to know that I know what they're dealing with and what their challenges are and where they're succeeding and where they're not succeeding.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Right? And it's the key. It's the key. They got to know that they're being, that their contribution is seen, and the things that they're doing that perhaps they'll never give voice to, that I understand.
Yeah.
And I'll give that advice to anyone who is a growing business. If you're in a partnership, you got to be aware of the weight that your team is carrying that you might not be aware of.
Where do you find that most A players are sourced from? Like, obviously they're so different, but are there common denominators you've noticed? I'm sure you've hired and fired hundreds of people at this
A lot of
stage.
people.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, I would only hire athletes in the sales role.
Because there's a proven evidence or body of work of putting all in effort.
Every day.
Right.
Because you can't coach effort.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So in sales roles, athletes that played collegiate sports, and if you're lucky enough, somebody played professional sports, give them the ball, tell them the game plan, get out of their way.
People who like to compete physically. Yeah.
Competitive people
Yeah.
in sales roles. In operational roles, from my experience, people that understand systems, polymaths, that understand more than one concept,
Mm-hmm.
that understand at a deep, deep level relationships between very complex systems, right? And they live in it, and they don't get frustrated by it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Because that's probably something you get frustrated by, so you hire the right people.
You got to hire the right people
to delegate,
right?
Yeah. Outsource your weaknesses.
It's absolutely critical, right? I can't hire everybody that's just like me.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing will get done. Only stuff that I do will get done. Only things that I do will get done.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's doable. And creative people, if you're going to hire the best creative people, you got to let them do their thing.
Yeah.
And they'll do things that you never even imagined.
Right. 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to give them the freedom. And then Steve Jobs said this. He goes, don't hire the best people, then tell them how to do their job.
Mm-hmm.
This should already. And the last thing is, I don't hire people to train them. You know, because what I pay
Mm-hmm.
is for people that are the best.
Right.
Right. We're growing at a rate where training that last level of expert isn't the place for us. You come there trained.
Yeah.
You come there already sharpened.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, you have to pay.
And then where can people, I know you mentioned it earlier, but where can people learn more about you and Superpatch if they want to try the product and get their hands on it?
You can go to superpatch.com. My YouTube channel is J_decoded. So I do podcasts like yourselves and share other insights into business and mindfulness. So if people want to take a peek, they can do that. Instagram is the same, J_decoded. Listen, we're just out here sharing our message. I appreciate you having us on.
Absolutely, brother.
Right? I think the more people that realize that there is a choice for them in terms of managing their quality of life and that of their family that doesn't have to rely on a pill, I think we're going to get our message out to hundreds of millions of people, if not billions of people.
And who is the product for versus not for? Is it people who are, struggling? Because maybe someone's watching this and they go, well, I'm somebody in my 20s or 30s that wants to be more physically fit. Or maybe I'm in my 50s or 60s and I'm having some health challenges. Like the suite of products for people who might be thinking or on the fence, like, oh, I want to try that. Who is this for? Who's it not for?
This is interesting. You're going to say, that's a horrible answer, Jay. It's for everyone.
Okay.
We have product for physical performance, playing sports, going to the gym, mental performance with focus, decreased stress. We have things for pain management. So pain management isn't just for somebody for chronic pain. So it could be people that have aches and pains, but it also could be somebody that's in recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what age you are, right? Better sleep. Who needs better sleep? Everybody needs better sleep. Who needs less stress?
Yeah,
everybody needs less stress, right? We have something to help burn more calories. Who needs that? Anybody that's interested in that, right?
Right.
So we are a lifestyle company based on a tech, right? And depending on their goals, we have something for them. So whether it's physical performance, so we have athletes So when we can help D1 athletes improve their performance, power performance by 10%, I think that speaks to people that go to the gym and train like, what, there's more available to me because I can optimize my neurology and get more out of my physicality. Yeah, there's something there for you.
And what's the function of how it works? Is it on the finger, on the shoulder, how does it work for somebody who doesn't know?
You can put most of the patches anywhere on your body to get the effect. The pain patch you want to put as close to where you're feeling the discomfort, right? So if you've got aches and pains in your back, you want to put it close to where you're feeling it, and you can wear more than one of the pain patch wherever you like. Most patches you can put almost anywhere else on your body. So some people put them on their forearms, some people put them on their back, some people put them on their leg. Some people don't mind showing people what they're wearing. Some people are a little bit more conspicuous. Whatever they want to do. I mean, it's up to them. That's the beauty of the tech, that it speaks with the skin to our central nervous system, right? And people are like, how does that work? I'm like, if you got stung by a bee anywhere on your body, you'd feel it, right?
100%. Yeah.
Your skin is connected. There is a deep, complex connection between our skin and our brain. And all we've done is decoded that haptic code so we can speak very specifically to the OI of our mind.
I love that. And then before we wrap up, Jay, we always play a quick game at the end.
Okay.
And the way the game works is it's a word relation game. It's called First Things First. So the essence of the game is essentially I'm going to rifle off a quick word or phrase, and then you just tell me the first word or phrase that comes to mind related to it.
Okay.
Make sense?
Sure.
The only rule is that you can't repeat yourself twice.
Okay.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
All right. First word, super patch.
Inevitable.
Your mom's MS.
Blessing.
The day your net worth went from 100 million to 50 mil.
Devastating.
Biggest limiting belief you had to overcome to get to where you're at today.
Why me?
Best advice you've ever been given.
You're born limitless.
Worst advice you've ever been given.
Not for you.
The first amount of money you saw in your bank account that made you go, holy shit. What was it?
It's happened more than once.
Do you remember the first time?
Yeah. 65 million.
How old were you at that time?
29.
What's the first thing you did when that happened? When you saw that?
Bought a Ferrari.
What kind?
302.
What color?
Red.
Of course. I love it. Fear.
Fake.
Confidence.
Everything.
Your superpower.
Compassion.
And the last one. When Jay Dhaliwal is nothing but dead, gone, and a pile of dust, what do you hope your life's work and your mission was all about that you're remembered for?
That I dedicated my life to leave this place better than I found it.
Oh, man. I love that. Any final words of wisdom to the audience out there, dreamers looking to make their dreams a reality?
Hey, dreamers. I'm a dreamer like you. Haven't stopped dreaming. Your dreams are your birthright. You're limitless. Small little tip I'll give you. Align your thinking with your feeling, with your action. Find that coherence. It unlocks the expansion that is within you. You're part of the universe. The universe is expanding limitlessly. Just align with that expansion. Nothing can hold you back, ever. Go for it.
Oh, man, I love that. Thank you so much for being on the show, Jay. And for you guys at home watching, make sure to check out the links in the description below. You can check out superpatch.com to get your patches today, as well as check out his Instagram and YouTube down below so you guys can follow his content. Thanks so much for being on the show.
My
today,
pleasure,
Jay.
Ben. This is such
Absolutely.
a
It's
great
been an honor.
evening.
Thank you, brother.